Hi, I'm Kai, and welcome to Useful Utilities. Now, in the last showcase, I mentioned that free build now comes with the ability to toggle building snapping on and off. And this mod is the reason why. So what is Useful Utilities? Well, it's a bunch of small mods I've been working on, all sort of jumbled together because they're useful, and they are utilities for the guest and for the player, but mostly for the guest. Now, the point of this mod is to add new, small buildings that all have a function in the game, and there's a reason you may want to use them, over just being decorations. But I've placed the first set in the decoration tab, because that's sort of where they fit in best. So if we go down here to the park decorations, you'll see a new bunch of buildings at the bottom. They don't have icons yet, they will do in the end. I'm just showcasing an early version right now. The first two are benches. As you can see, they come with a viewing cone, and a little viewing area around them, and they snap to paths, which is why you can now disable snapping in free build so that you can place them wherever you want to. But I think the snapping is quite cool. So we have two sets of benches. First of all, the forward-facing one. Place that down here. You'll see a guest can sit on it and watch dinosaurs. And you have a backward-facing bench as well, which is the same, but it faces away from the path. You do not need to place these benches on paths, but they will only have the viewing cone if they're placed on a path. If they aren't, they will not be viewing anything. Now, both of these benches have two different path attachment points. As you can see here, these have an attachment point in front, and these have one behind. This is because if the whole thing was an attachment point, guests would sort of walk away from the path and walk around the bench, which is a little bit annoying. So, if I place a forward-facing bench and a backward-facing bench, I'll need to attach a path to the front of the forward-facing bench and the back of the backward-facing bench for them to work. If I attach a path a bit too far this side, you'll see it doesn't pick up on it. So that's just a little FYI. And again, this is just a quality of park life feature, because if I placed a bench here and I had placed a path all around it, guests would be breaking up from this path and walking around onto the grass, which looks a little bit weird. Next up, very similar vein, we have the viewing stand. If you place it here, it faces away from the path, and it's a pretty sizable viewing area. As you can see in first-person mode, it's basically just a set of binoculars. And of course, for balancing purposes, the viewing area of these is still way smaller than a viewing gallery, but it is more sizable, if I go into viewing, than the benches. See, those are quite small, this is quite large. I think this goes up to 70 meters in game, this goes up to 40. And one last thing is these do require a little bit of energy to use. I believe I set it to 0.25 power per set of binoculars. And then we get into a really fun feature. Well, I mean, these were fun too, but next we have snappable feeding troughs. You get empty variants, green herb variants, and dry herb variants. So these dinosaurs are hungry. If I attach that, they'll go and eat from this. And yes, it does actually work. If I look at the dinosaur, you'll see its hunger will fill up as it feeds. And yes, they can eat in doubles too. They don't always, but they can if they want to. And of course, the whole point is that it's a nice little thing for guests to look at. So, just to show them all off, you have a large feeding trough with the green herbs and with dry herbs. That's sort of what they look like. And then you have medium equivalents and small equivalents. And I believe the small equivalents and medium equivalents only have one feeding point, so that big dinosaurs like the Edmonto don't start stacking up together. And then of course you have template versions of all of these as well. And this is for you to fill out using your own scenery items. They do still have food points, they just don't visually have them, so you can sort of fill them out with whatever you want. And this is what they look like in first-person mode. So, here we have the empty food troughs, the green food troughs, and then the dried food troughs. And as you can see, the guests absolutely love it. I think. And now, for the final edition, for now at least, this was an absolute pain to implement, but it is my favourite feature. And that is vending machines. We have one for chilled drinks, one for snacks, and one for souvenirs. This is sort of what they look like. We have the chilled drinks, which is in vanilla, and then a couple I added here. And of course, they do actually work. So if you mouse over them, you'll see that they're servicing a certain amount of people. And if you go into management view, you'll see that food, drink, and shopping amenities are covered by them. And finally, if you go into your management view and figure out where guest amenities are, there we go. You'll see they are being partially covered by these little vending machines here. Now there is a little bit extra being covered in terms of food, because I built some stuff over here that covers that. That's just a bunch of food places. Now, as I mentioned before, this mod is the whole reason why FreeBuild comes with a snap toggle, because I didn't want to clutter this menu and this menu up with both snapping and non-snapping equivalents. So you can build things snapping, or you can press Ctrl 1 if you have FreeBuild installed, the latest version, which isn't out yet, but it will be soon, and build things wherever you want. Same, of course, with these feeders here. And that, I believe, is that. So again, this mod will be expanded in the future. I've got a lot of things I still want to add. It's just sort of a dumping mod. It's where I put all the other stuff that I've been working on that doesn't really fit anywhere else. And again, the whole point of the mod is for everything added to it to be useful. So it's something that actually has a use in the game and isn't just decoration. And that's about that. I think it's time I go and finish this thing off. Thank you very much, and goodbye.